I've been grinding to Legend recently, and yes, I finally reached Legend. But that's a mega video for another day. Subscribe. Today, I'm sharing some great PvP fights that allowed me to reach Legend rank and break them down for you to learn from. There will be solo fights against multiple enemies, how to improve your game sense, and how to beat aggressive players. The moves I made can also be done by anyone, in any map and any mode. They weren't fancy, just straight efficient and calculated moves. Please note that the situations were all equal here as far as gear goes. I was wearing good gears, the enemies were wearing good gear, the fights could have easily ended up in their favor. Even if I had better gear in some circumstances, good gear doesn't make you immortal. It's not a video about how to rat someone. That's really not my style, so if you're looking for tips from someone that prefers an aggressive approach, buckle up, you're in for a treat. Right then, fight number 1. This is a 1v2 where I was sandwiched by a T6 and a T5 duo after they wiped my teammates. You're about to witness just how good decoy grenades are. After nearly dying here, I threw a decoy grenade on this hill to the left to prevent enemies from pushing down here. Decoy grenades are incredibly useful but is heavily underrated and underused. Even if the enemies know that you threw a decoy because they can hear, it could still help hide your real footsteps. They're not just for creating fake footsteps to trick enemies with, they're also a great distraction and suppression system. Anyway, I didn't want the enemies to close in too much, so I moved around a lot and controlled my grounds, going back and forth, left and right, checking different angles and entry points. I knew there were at least 2, so I kept running left and right. I ran behind this green crate because I decided I wanted them to come to me. It's better that way, I wasn't about to expose myself to get to them. It provided me a cover from high ground shots on the left as well. And I had this peak on the right. As soon as the enemy located me here, I repositioned. They're both pushing me now and my location got compromised, so it was time to reset the battleground. Pause. Fights are broken into segments. Each time a player locates an enemy, it can often mean they gain the advantage. In this instance, there's 2 of them. The guy to my right did a bait check, so he knows exactly where I am now. He would have given comms to his teammates and the next push would have been a coordinated push at the same time. I took that opportunity away from them by changing my location. So now they have to work out where I am again. A great way to reset a segment is to reposition yourself and the segment of the fight resets with it, thus affecting the outcome. Once I resetted this segment, the play was reset. Pause. You would have missed what I did here, so let me explain. First of all, I saw him run across. I thought he was gonna swing to my right, so I started spraying there. He actually peeked to my left and opened fire there. There's definitely an element of luck that he missed his shots, but I also always made myself a hard target to track by constantly moving. Anyway, as he was spraying, I noticed he moved too far to his left and folded his gun on this box. I was nearly dead here, so I had to dodge the bullets. The moment I saw him peek back out for more shots using the exact same peek, I did a fakie to my right to break his line of sight again. Now, because the guy already peeked too much to his right, which is my left, where he's been shooting, I just knew that he will pop out to my right this time. No decent player will keep peeking the same angle over and over and over again, which you can also use to predict where the enemy will go to next. So as soon as I did a fakie to my right, I ran left and opened fire to my right. But why did I run left? There's another guy above me, to my left. I needed immediate cover after taking this guy down, so I went to hug the wall back for some more cover. Right here I do 2 things. One is heal, second is bait with my heal. Players often push players that are healing, so I was ready to cancel my heal as soon as I hear him push closer and blast him. Seeing as he never pushed, I just carried on healing. The decoy is also still running, so that helped keep him back. I honestly wouldn't be surprised if they thought I had a teammate with me. This is how good decoy grenades are. That one was easy. Just because someone has high ground doesn't mean they have the advantage. People with high ground have to elevate themselves before they can see you. If you're below them, you'll see them pop up before they can see you. I was just waiting for that tiny bit of pixel from the top of his helmet to come out and I was ready to be guns blazing. I'm gonna give you a tip here that you'll see me repeat later in the video. Move with purpose. Often when you're running, you're just running. In gunfights, you want to run with purpose. A lot of the time, you run with the purpose of shooting. If you run with purpose, you're not reacting. You're carrying out a calculated move. Way before I ran forward for the second kill, I already told myself, the purpose of this run is to shoot very soon. He's gonna pop out as I run forward, and when he does, I've already killed him in my mind. So when I was blasting him, you'll see that I stopped at the exact time when he died and then started scanning the area to my right for the next threat. This is because I knew exactly how fast I was gonna kill him and that he was already dead before I even saw him. So I moved on to the next step before he dropped dead. Look, it doesn't always work out like this, obviously, for many reasons, but having this mindset offers a much better success rate than when you doubt yourself before you get in a fight. Manifest your win, gang. Alright, so this next one is another intense 1v2 against Geared Chad. Me and my team were looting some kills up a hill and we got rushed by a new duo which led to my teammates getting killed. Believe it or not, this hill in Armory is a terrible place to hold. Even though it is only one entry point on foot, enemies can throw grenades from literally every angle and I'll never see them coming. Left, above, to the right, it's just terrible. So instead of holding this spot, I decided to jump down and use the tents. But before I do that though, I get ready. Fill my mags, do drugs, and be ready for a fight the moment I jump down. By jumping down, it made it easier for my enemies to close the gap, which is what I actually wanted. Less work and risk for me. I knew they'd push because I'm outnumbered and they seemed aggressive, so I'll just use that against them. I also prefer to run around in circles with something in between me and the enemy. I'm gonna use the tents and simply run back and forth on both sides. I'm not gonna fully swing out of the corner. I'm gonna wait for them to do that. I'm gonna make it hard for them to time it right by zooming back and forth as well, so they have no idea who I'm gonna kill first. And because no one ever wants to go first and die, they're gonna mess up their timing. They weren't pushing, so I had to give them a little incentive. I decided to move back to another tent to make it seem like I'm running away to escape. This is me resetting the segment. Here, I wanted them to think I'm getting scared. This time, I'm just gonna chill. Again, I want to make it seem like I'm getting scared, but in reality, I'm gonna take this time to gather some info, check my surroundings, heal up, listen out to their movements, and figure out what type of playstyle they're gonna use next. Right, here they come. They're getting impatient, and when people get impatient, they make mistakes. Exactly like I do when I get impatient. Unlucky for them, I was in tournament mode, so I was playing a completely different ballgame. GG's. Right, let's break that down. I heard the guy full send to my left, but I had no idea where the other guy is. So I took a bit of time to check my right and see if his boyfriend was pushing that side. I had enough time based on how far the pusher's footsteps audio were to my left to do my check on the right. As soon as I cleared the right flank, I bolted to the left and dropped the first guy. Right after dropping Mickey Mouse, I ran to my right. Like in the first clip, I ran to my left with a purpose. The first guy was already dead before I even saw him. Before I started shooting, I was already thinking about the next move. I heard his boyfriend run towards my right. No time to breathe. We need to keep the pressure up. I fucked up their game plan completely. Don't give this next guy time to think and come up with a new plan. My plan was already in motion. I just needed to finish it. I do a quick fakie out of the corner. Run out, find out where he is, run behind cover, and peek out for the kill immediately. There are two things to bear in mind here. Number one, never do jiggle peeks in this game to find an enemy. The desync in this game is horrible. You'll die a lot of the time. Notice how he started shooting when he saw me? I'd have probably died if I peeked exposing only my head. Run out and run back in is actually the safest option to confirm enemy locations. Your entire body is out, so the enemy's focus is a little more than just seeing ahead. If it's only head they see, it's only head they shoot. Number two, whenever enemies see people running behind cover, it can sometimes make them think that you're running away. So the last thing they'd expect is an immediate attack. Use that to your advantage. I also kept on retreating to new locations. I did that twice already by this point. So when he saw me run away again, it may well have been that he thought I'm running away again to a new location again. It's amazing what you can do with constantly backing up. Last lesson for the day. How to beat a sweaty Chinese Chad. Me and my teammate tried to sandwich one guy in the hole at the opposite side of this wall. Sadly, my teammate got clapped as he tried to flank. I had no idea how this guy plays, so I take my sweet time to figure him out, and here's how to do that. I'll be listening for every little sound cue I can pick up. Quick stun grenade check to see how many players there are. For those that don't know, stun grenades forces enemies to produce footsteps when they get stunned. Great for area checks, especially for rats. Only one guy, so we Gucci. We actually killed 3 players before this, and we had already cleared the basement and the top floor for enemies, so this was the last guy. I did a stun check just in case. I was running with purpose here again, but this time, not to attack. I just wanted to see what gear he's wearing. As soon as I figure out his gear, it made me realize this guy is obviously tanky, and I'm gonna need to catch him off guard for a higher chance of winning. I park in his corner, literally right next to him to now understand what he's like as a player. Firstly, he's got nades. But this next audio cue was the most important of them all. The guy took his melee out, followed by another nade. Every time someone brings their melee out, that's to move faster and drain less stamina. This told me that this guy is aggressive and wants to take control, so we'll let him think he's in control. But really, we're just waiting for him to make a mistake. I'm in a very good spot here. Very little amount of places to get shot from. Literally just 2 doorways in front of me and 1 to my right. In order for him to get to me, he's gonna need to do his own checks, meaning he needs to expose himself to get to me. Notice how I peeked right instead of left there? I was actually hiding myself. I wanted him to not see me, come out of his corner and start running towards me. And when he does that, I can peek left and blast him while he no longer has cover. But why peek right though? Because it lets me place my upper body and head as far right as possible behind the wall and not be seen. But have my legs placed out enough to the left so when I do a left peek, I'd clear my corner and be able to see the enemy. If I take shots, it's just going to be to my legs. Sadly though, it didn't go according to plan. He didn't swing out. He's decent. He knows where I am now though, so I repositioned. Here, I'm gonna do some peeks for bait. I know, I said never peek to bait. But in this instance, if I run out and try to run back in, I'd probably hit the wall as the doorway is tight. If that happens, I'm a sitting duck. So I basically prayed to the decent gods, be kind to me this time and help me out. They listened. Now, because my playstyle was to reposition every time he saw me, and how I did that twice already, I knew he'd think I'd do the same thing again. And that's the segment of the fight where I lure people into a trap. This is the segment where I knew this guy was dead before I even started shooting. Some of you guys might think I'm yapping about shit pretending I'm breaking down nothing. You may not realize though, I used the same technique 3 times. Every single clip I broke down in this video used the exact same technique. Break the fights in segments, gather info, set the trap, bait the trap, wait for their mistake, kill. Watching high-level players like Bellatrix, Semivan, Yusuf, Liquidate will teach you how they work. The difference with me is though, I was also analyzing them and turning their strengths into weaknesses. You know, aggro players always aggro, good players don't peek the same angle more than twice, melee sprint spammers. These are all clues that help you build a profile on your enemies. Once you have all this info, you can then formulate a plan of attack, and it's down to physical skill to pull off the attack. Anyway, it's not the easiest thing to do, analyzing. So let me do that for you. Subscribe for more episodes.